Gagan Banga, Vice Chairman and Managing Director of Indiabulls Hsg Finance, joins us now. Morning, Gagan. Good to have you with us. Well, what's your sense? What the RBI gave, rate war has already taken away?
Good morning, Lata. No, I don't think that there is anything like a rate war. Actually, through the course of the last 1.5 to 2 years, that we've been seeing a lowering of interest rates starting by RBI and then eventually transmission happening. Actually, home loan rates have been very tightly priced. Historically, home loans have been priced at between 150 to 200 basis points over government securities. Even right now, they're priced in pretty much the same range. And the move by RBI last week is more signaling towards how all the arms of the government, be it the RBI, the government, or various other financial regulators, are treating housing more as the central economic policy. And that has been the theme for the last 1 year. And whatever the government can do or the central bank can do, they're doing to encourage housing. And for the last 6 months, the whole play was around affordable housing. I think the government has done a lot around affordable housing. And now to even encourage the slightly more premium housing, RBI has actually treated this as a counter-cyclical measure. So the important thing to read in that circular is that RBI calls this change as a counter-cyclical measure, as if we are at the bottom of the cycle. But actually, affordable housing has been chugging along well. So I think all in all, this is in continuation of the larger economic policy of using housing to kickstart the GDP, to help the GDP grow faster, to play out the multiplier effect that housing generally has on the overall economy, on the labor market, on steel and cement.
Okay.
And I think most banks and lenders are being sane as far as pricing is concerned.
Okay. Gagan, good morning. You know, that was my next question, because I remember in our last interaction, you told us that for some of these low-ticket housing, the effective interest rate is now down to almost 3% if you were to take into account the subsidy and the lower, costs. So you spoke about this multiplier effect. What kind of growth rate do you see, in terms of disbursements, in terms of your overall credit growth in this particular space?
So affordable housing for Indiabulls Housing will be growing between 30 and 35%. We are reasonably confident that the home loan book, and since we focus more on around the 25 lakh rupee ticket size, that's the single biggest gainer. Our average ticket size has been historically at about 24 lakhs, and that part of our business will continue to grow at 30 to 35%. The moves of the last 6 to 12 months will add at least 300 basis points of additional growth coming. And just so as to be able to be clear as to how the subsidy scheme works, effectively today, if someone is borrowing 25 lakh rupees for a home loan and is purchasing a house of, let's say, 30 to 35 lakh rupees, the effective cost is all of 30 basis points, assuming that he's getting a home loan, he or she is getting a home loan at 8.35%. Roughly 5% of benefit comes from the various tax break given, and an additional 3% by the subsidy scheme of Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana. So all in all, the cost works to around 30 basis points. If you borrow 24 lakh of rupees, over the life of the loan, say 15 or 20 years, you will land up paying only 24.5 lakh rupees. So that's the power of the subsidy program and the tax break program which is being currently run.
Okay, that's interesting. So you spoke about a 30 to 35% growth in the affordable housing segment. Earlier you had guided for a 25 to 30% growth overall, loan growth for FY18, led by the mortgage growth. Is that a guidance that you would stick to at the moment?
Yeah, so we would be looking at growing the book closer to 30 lakh of rupees, given all of the positive changes which have happened. And the company has also recently been upgraded by ICRA and is now AAA rated by ICRA as well. So I think that would further strengthen our bond borrowing program. and give us additional ammunition to be able to compete in that space at a very good, effective cost. It should also positively impact our NII. So all in all, I think the book growth that we would be targeting would be closer now to 30%.
Okay, a final question, Gagan. The last date for the housing scheme is March 31st. It's just this year, isn't it? Have enough housing schemes been launched to take advantage of that subvention?
Yes, I think the claims that are being made to National Housing Bank are happening on a monthly basis. The scheme was launched with retrospective effect, even though it was notified in the middle of March. It was launched with a retrospective effect starting 1st of January. Most lenders have already been making claims on a regular basis for the eligible borrowers. So I think for the whole of this year, the scheme is definitely alive and kicking. It is a budgetary proposition, so therefore needs to get renewed every year. It can't be a scheme which the government can pre-announce for the next 5 years.
Okay, Gagan, point taken. Thanks a lot for your time.